Look, it's just Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now. We've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win.
Canelo has such unique skills, and one of the weird things that he does that very few people since Rocky Marciano does is he punches your arm.
In a statement that has sparked controversy in the boxing world, famous trainer Robert Garcia recently questioned Saul Canelo Alvarez's capacity to challenge Terence Bud Crawford in a prospective blockbuster fight.
He's up there, in not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself.
Stephen A. Smith also made a daring statement that sparked a firestorm in the boxing industry, resulting in non-stop arguments amongst fans and experts alike. His claim that Crawford could outperform Canelo has fueled an already heated rivalry, boosting the stakes and heightening the tension surrounding this prospective super fight.
And on that, all the way to September 13th.
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo.
But the question is, even when Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion who has earned such fame and name, fights, why is he not favored by the pros over Terence Crawford, the three-division world champion who became the first male boxer to hold all four major welterweight belts to fight in a showdown last year? Even the catch weight of 158 to 160 pounds is being questioned, and both parties appear eager to make history.
Different,
Great fighter.
You see what happens when a good fighter jump up and his opponent is great fighter. So you're gonna find out.
That means you're a good fighter, and Bivol is a great fighter, right? Right? Is you a good fighter or a great fighter? Let me know.
I'm a great fighter.
So you got your ass whooped by a good fighter, right?
You're a good fighter.
I'm saying.
But I'm great.
Okay.
And
Well, every time you stepped up, you lost. Great fighter.
I'm not.
question for Terence Crawford.
According to fans and pundits, the upcoming fight is not your typical fantasy fight. It is a battle of two generational titans, one patriotic Mexican star who has carried the sport on his back for over a decade. The other is a sophisticated and intelligent butch hitter who has completely unhinged every man put in front of him. Joe Rogan raved about the potential battle between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. To express his enthusiasm, he praised both boxers as legends in the sport. Rogan underlined Crawford's uncommon status as a switch hitter, comparing him to the late Marvin Hagler.
Be great. It's going to be a great fight. You're dealing with two all-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive. And then you have Canelo, who probably isn't the same guy as he was just like a few years ago.
Right.
But still, one of the greatest of all time. Still has brutal knockout power.
Following that, Rogan began to discuss Canelo Alvarez, conceding that the Mexican superstar is no longer the fighter who represents his full potential, but he remains one of the most skilled and potentially dangerous sportsmen of his generation. Canelo has previously demonstrated his ability to outperform his peers with highlight reel knockouts of Amir Khan and Billy Joe Saunders. According to Rogan, although he agreed that Canelo has lost a stride, he maintained that the champion is still in his prime and has a lot of promise.
If you go back to like some of his, like more impressive fights from a few years ago, like the Amir Khan KO, like the Billy Joe Saunders KO, those KO, he's probably not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
But he's still young enough that he's still pretty close to his prime and one of the best of all time.
I'd like to see him fight David Bennett.
The build-up to this battle is more than just a clash of waistlines and resumes. This is about legacy, time, and the convergence of two opposing viewpoints on how fighter should use his style. At a time when opinions were already flying thick and fast in boxing circles, Robert Garcia stepped forward and changed the course of the conversation. Garcia's repute for training exceptional fighters and elevating champions to the top made it impossible for readers to disregard his observations. In his interview, he presented a calm yet firm critique of what is wrong with the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, indicating that the match may not be as anticipated. The idea that Crawford would pull off the unfathomable received a boost.
It's a fight that that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
However, Garcia didn't stop there. He went on to imply at the close of the interview that competitor Canelo may have been displaying a deeper issue in the ring. During some of his most recent huge contests, it wasn't just about ability or strength anymore. Another set of issues revolved around Canelo's mindset, urgency, and how he would fight in high-stakes situations. Is Canelo becoming too complacent? Will Crawford blow the whistle?
Him again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there. And not in age because he's only like 33 or 34. But he's
fighting since 15.
15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win.
When there was a lot of excitement about the potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, Michael J. White, a martial artist, inserted his forecast. White took his side and stated unequivocally that he supported Crawford. Although White expressed respect for Canelo's successes and achievements over the years, he stated that Crawford is the superior fighter.
Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather.
At 34 years old, Canelo is synonymous with boxing, but his luster has faded in recent years. Canelo has been the unlucky victim of greater criticism since overcoming Caleb Plant in a 2021 unification contest to become the true undisputed champion at 168. And he is now facing a new and safer opponent as he shows signs of wear and tear. His defeat to Dimitri Bivol in 2022 exposed limitations against opponents with movement, timing, and length. In an interview with Joe Rogan, Jim Lampley expressed his strong opinion on what makes Canelo Alvarez such a difficult fighter to manage in the ring. More specifically, Lampley stressed Canelo's near-unrivaled ability to absorb punches while remaining unaffected. He emphasized that Canelo had never been dropped in his lengthy career, even when caught clean. Interview 10.
Yes.
He brutalizes your arms.
He's another brilliant guy. He has the greatest punch resistance in the sport. We talked about it earlier. One knockout in the whole career.
Knockdown.
And it wasn't a knockdown. And it wasn't really a knockdown in my personal view. So, because he didn't touch the canvas. He's never been on the canvas. And we call it chin.
To describe how Canelo Alvarez has an incredible sense of balance and cannot be taken down, he focused on Canelo's lower body strength rather than the typical practice of having a strong chin. Lampley suggested an intriguing correlation between Canelo's ability to ride a horse and his mind-boggling ring stability.
The reason you can't knock him down is not because of his chin, it's because of his legs.
His base.
You can't get him off balance. He's too strong from the waist down. And if other fighters would pay attention to what Canelo does, they might go do a little horseback riding.
Completely makes sense if you think about it. Squeezing with the lower legs, the core strength that you have to have.
100% correct.
The balance.
The balance,
Yes.
exactly. The timing, all of it. Yeah, there he is. Look at Canelo.
Wow.
Now that's a skill he has carried since his early childhood.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, Terence Crawford continues to ascend. Despite being 37 years old, he came into his own when he defeated the undefeated Errol Spence Jr. in a 9-round masterpiece in July 2023, establishing himself as the division's indisputable champion. His victory in Las Vegas that night cemented his place at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings, and he has since increased his appetite even more. In an interview with experienced boxing journalist Dan Rafael, Oladipo shared his views on how weight plays a part in boxing, which is often overlooked by casual observers. As Oladipo mentioned in the beginning of their conversation, weight should not be seen solely as a question of height or bodily size. Instead, it is more appropriately associated with a fighter's ability to absorb punishment, often known as punch resistance.
Kind of made a great point when talking about sizes. Because he said, if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said, people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package. It's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So, and it was good. It was a very good point. He was like, Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the better part of a decade. Basically, he's so used to taking those shots.
Using this paradigm, Oladipo suggested that Canelo Alvarez, with his naturally larger physique, may have an advantage when it comes to taking punches. He did, however, say that Terence Crawford should not be counted out since he has demonstrated the toughness and ring IQ to compete with physically larger opponents.
Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade. Yeah. What's Crawford going to be like? So basically, trying to say, Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
If you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergey Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
not even getting wobbled,
just literally shaking it off, you can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
The fight between Canelo and Crawford is a stark contrast in reach, style, and mindset. Canelo is a superb pressure counterpuncher. The textbook stated, he is very deliberate and composed. With hooks to the body, he is exceptional at passing control and punishing overextensions. Kenny Sims recalls sparring with Terence Crawford at an early period of his career and described it as a difficult lesson. Sims was still a rising star at the time, and switching places with Crawford, a skilled, seasoned, and clever fighter, was too much to bear. Keith Thurman talked with obvious admiration for Canelo Alvarez, recognizing how frequently Canelo has exceeded expectations throughout his career. Thurman has been impressed by Canelo's performances and ability to adjust in big fights over the years. Because of Canelo's persistent excellence, Thurman acknowledged that he no longer questions his abilities in the ring. He stated, "Canelo has impressed me on numerous occasions, so I definitely don't put anything past Canelo Alvarez anymore." Keith Thurman said that he appreciates the potential for a Terence Crawford-Canelo Alvarez battle. He reminded the crowd that it is easy to enjoy the show when they are not being hit. Thurman highlighted equal importance for both combatants, stating that regardless of who wins, they are both excellent fighters. When it came to this fight, he was more of an enthusiast than a prognosticator, urging spectators to enjoy the moment because it featured two greats risking all.
Not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot, okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching.
Thurman then spoke about the battle, stating that while both men are great, only one will win. He may believe that the typical crowd is slightly skewed in favor of Canelo because to his track record and celebrity. Meanwhile, Thurman has been upfront, and many fans would agree that he believes the playing field is even. He also struggled to make a confident judgment, describing the match as close to 50-50. It's in terms of how competitive and close the outcome appears.
His amount of punches, his rhythm, I think he's in the class of Crump. So I think he's in the class of his own. So, but to me, for him to replicate Mayweather style, I think would be the easiest thing to do at this moment, because Canelo couldn't catch Mayweather when he was 35 or 30, whatever old Mayweather was. Canelo's feet didn't do nothing but get worse. They didn't get better. So if I'm Crawford, I'm going in there with that same kind of game plan. And when I watch him fight Majimov, I know that he can stick to a game plan. I know he didn't get intrigued by what Majimov was doing.
Crawford, on the other hand, is the embodiment of adaptability. He is a unique fighter since he was able to fight in an orthodox posture in southpaw and maintain control in the same round. His timing and footwork are exceptional, and he has a high ring IQ and is the finest of his generation. He downloads one opponent after the next, breaking them down mentally and physically. He does not wield great authority, but rather cuts and accumulates. More specifically, Crawford is adept at attacking an opponent in susceptible positions where he is either moving up lens, off bounds, or in the center of the offense. Even Tony Harrison, a hardened warhorse and stranger to the sport, couldn't help making realistic statements about what Terence Crawford is aiming to do. Harrison didn't utilize sugarcoating during his interview. He was aware of the impending danger and appreciated the kind of bravery that most combatants talk about, but never seemed to demonstrate.
Facts is facts. He got his hands full. But when it comes down to timing, I think the time is right. If you was gonna do it, now is the time to do it because Canelo is slowing down. He doesn't throw as many combinations as he used to. He's definitely still durable. So I don't think Canelo is going, Crawford is going there trying to stop Canelo because that would be idiotic.
Harrison is seeing what it takes to leap rope and get to the unknown, thus his remarks had meaning. He did not overstate Crawford when he claimed his action was extremely risky because it was a sign of great respect for him. Crawford is not only moving weight divisions, but he is also entering the area of one of boxing's most powerful champions without hesitation. There will be no trashing, no attention, and only goodwill. Combat fighters respect such attitudes. Crawford, at this scale, still has unanswered questions. He has never fought beyond the weight limit of 147. Moving up 10 or 11 pounds in a contest against a man who has been fighting at 168 pounds or more for years is no small feat. Even the best names, Roy Jones Jr. and Kell Brook, have discovered that gaining weight is perilous. The body will react differently. The jads are different. Mortaz Alev's trainer also wrote something regarding the potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, and how, despite Crawford's size disadvantage, he's still a dangerous fighter. Despite jumping up 3 complete weight classes, he believes that Crawford's skill level outweighs any physical benefit or disadvantage to this. Crawford does not need to win with pure strength, according to the trainer, but his timing, ring IQ, and technique are deadly regardless of weight class. Jim Gray made it clear that his respect for Canelo Alvarez is not based on favoritism. It is based on the fighter's continuous accomplishments throughout his career. Gray underlined between 032 and 052 that Canelo has earned his spot as not just Mexico's premier champion, but also one of the most dominant pound-for-pound fighters in the sport today. His resume speaks for itself.
I personally think he deserves a big shot like that, and moving up 2 weight classes, it's very hard, of course, but again, you can't count Crawford out no matter what. He's a very competitive guy, very technical guy, very skillful guy. He might not be the biggest puncher, but he knows how to land that shot and clean and push people out. He put so many people out before Majimov, like 10 or 11 fights in a row, so.
At the same time, Gray acknowledged the ongoing argument over pound-for-pound rankings, stating that Terence Crawford deserved to be near the top of any realistic list. However, he did point out a few important benefits for Canelo. He has a longer history of fighting at heavier weights. He's been more active in recent years, and those factors could be critical if the two ever meet in the ring.
He's a great fighter. Terence Crawford, everybody says perhaps the pound-for-pound guy. We can have these mythical lists, and you can pick 3 or 4 of them, but he would be on somebody's list probably at the top.
Right.
And Canelo is getting a little bit older, but Canelo weighs a lot more, and Canelo fights more often, and so I think it's an intriguing matchup, but the bigger man. I don't want to get hit by Canelo ever, and when you've weighed so much less, I don't know what Terence will come into the ring, but he's coming up in weight significantly, and that seems to me would favor Canelo. By the other token,
however, this is not just any conflict, but a battle of titans. One man is taking the risk of moving up 3 weight classes to make history using only his ability, heart, and bravery. This is unquestionably a watershed event in boxing history, whether it's Crawford's actions or Canelo's strong base. So, we leave it up to you, who will come out with his or her legacy strengthened. Is it the sleek technician on the rise, or the battle-tested powerhouse who holds his crown? Please share your guesses in the comments, press the like button, and if you want war, make sure you subscribe and get all the information on the most awaited boxing match.